Just finished giving a webinar and wanted to stretch the legs in the sunshine. But speaking of webinars, let me have a chat about webinars for you. And speaking of webinars, let me find somewhere to put the camera. So I had a friend reach out to me this morning and she was pretty disenchanted, pretty angry about a few things, and I asked her why, and she said she'd just done a webinar herself, done a presentation at a local meetup, and because of the pandemic it was a virtual meetup. And as it turned out, she gave a presentation and the attendees was zero. No one there, just her and the host. And admittedly, the host was very encouraging and encouraged her to keep on doing it, and she did their 45-minute talk, but you can imagine, she was pretty pissed off at that. You do all that work, all that preparation, all that content building to try and make sure you're going to deliver a great talk, and no one turns up to see it. And that is one of the challenges nowadays, is that there almost seems to be that expectation that anything given virtually should be given for free, and because it's given for free, there's not a lot of incentive to actually show up. There's always that, I'll catch the recording later kind of mentality. Now, admittedly, I think maybe some people in the community are just a little bit lazy, but the reality is also virtual events are normally given during work hours, and it's hard to justify that time to dedicate yourself to watching an event. I feel in particular sorry for user groups at the moment, because user groups have been getting all sorts of pushback during the pandemic about that any events that they host that are run virtually should be always free for attendees. And that's a big ask, given that the amount of effort that goes to coordinating, staging, finding speakers for an event. I think user groups are entitled to at least cover their costs, but so many attendees don't feel that way. But back to my friend, she was obviously feeling pretty unloved at this point in time, like why would I bother doing any more talks? But I have a couple of things I would recommend to anyone who's given a talk and it hasn't gone down well in terms of the number of attendees. First thing I would always do for every talk you ever do is make sure you record it, or have the organisers record it. Because even if no one's there to watch it, or very few people are there to watch it, this gives you the opportunity now to critique your talk. You can watch it back later, see how it's going, find all the points where you stumbled over your words. I now, when I watch my recordings, I even know when I use the term or because I can actually recognize the sound wave in the recorded file. The other benefit is you can perhaps upload that video to YouTube. Therefore it becomes a permanent asset, a permanent recording of your talk that other people might get some benefit out of. Most of the videos we do on office hours get a lot more views after the fact than actually during the office hours event itself. But also with that recording, the next time a conference comes up, whether it's virtual or face-to-face, you can send that video off to the conference organisers as proof of your speaking capacities. It's always a useful thing to have on your CV, so to speak. And the second thing is, don't forget, whenever you're building presentations, keep in mind that you really want to be building them for you. It's so easy to get sort of sucked into what I call attendee chasing, and you start building talks like secret, hidden, undocumented features of the Oracle database that will amaze your friends on the cloud. Yes, that will get you attendees, but is it really a talk you're passionate about? If you focus on building talks that interest you, that have your interest and your passion, you'll build a much better talk, but also, even if no one ever saw your talk, think of the knowledge you'll gain. Think of the test cases and the demos you build and the research you've done. Ultimately, the person you should be building presentations for is yourself. Anyone that attends your presentations really is just along for the ride, and that's just an added bonus. If you focus on building content for yourself, you'll always end up with a benefit there in terms of the knowledge you've gained. So if you have a bad presenting experience, and rest assured we've all had them, where we thought we're ready to nail a talk and yet no one rolls up, or very few people roll up, stick at it, don't get disenchanted. The more people that can present on any topic to the Oracle community, the better our community is, the more we prosper, and I think the more we'll start to recognize the importance of having people who are prepared to share their content out to the community. So stay with it, and hopefully I'll see you at the next presentation, whether it be virtual or face-to-face. See you later.